Hey everyone, and thanks for checking out this Facebook video update. Meteorologist Mike Taylor wanted to give another forecast discussion about Matthew and what's going on with him now and where he's going and all those other forecast questions that we have. One thing I will mention, hopefully you were able to catch the first forecast discussion I did about maybe 36 hours ago. And we were talking about that system having an opportunity to making its way all the way up the coast, along the East Coast, but timing will be essential. Timing is everything. We have a front on the way, and if Matthew was able to get north enough before that front arrived, it would be kicked out back into the Atlantic before it was able to really pose a significant impact to the mid-Atlantic. Let me give you an update on what's going on. There's some developments here. So first off, here's Matthew. It's a Category 3. Winds are at around 120 miles per hour. The gust at 145. And, it's about northeast of Cuba. And it's forecast to strengthen, but here's something that was not in the forecast discussion at the time that I did it. We were not expecting Nicole to form this quickly. We have Tropical Storm Nicole just east-northeast of Matthew, and it's a pretty decent tropical storm at this point with winds at 50 miles per hour, gusts at 65, and it's moving west-northwest at 8 miles per hour. Now, the reason why Nicole even matters, there's a lot of players here as far as what's going to steer Matthew towards the East Coast or the Southeast Coast. I'm only going to talk about one of them that I think is pretty important. The presence of Nicole is disrupting the steering currents from this high pressure that was expected to not only bring Matthew closer to the East Coast, but also help it, as you can see the currents there, to turn north towards the Carolinas. With Nicole here and with decent strength, these currents are kind of steering around it, and they're helping to steer Nicole too, but it's taking the influence away from Matthew. So therefore, there is going to be a greater window of opportunity here from Matthew, I hate to say, to get closer to the east coast of Florida and potentially even make landfall. Can't rule that out, and I think the whole state of Florida should be considering the possibility, if they aren't already, which I'm pretty sure they are, of a landfall in Florida from central to northern Florida at this point. And those are the forecast changes. It's Nicole. Now, let's move ahead here. I want to jump up towards this weekend. Because of this change and it moving further west before it turns north, thanks to the effect that Nicole is having, I want to say this, that front, because Matthew has slowed down some, that cold front that we're expecting later this week will be able to catch Matthew in its northern movement. Therefore, notice this 90-degree turn here you see as early as Saturday. That's that front catching Matthew and cutting off its northern movement, which is good for not only for North Carolina, but also the mid-Atlantic, but it's still not so good for South Carolina and points south. So good for some, bad for others with this forecast scenario. So here's a look at the upper level pattern as we see it right now. That front will be expected to move in. A high pressure will be following that cold front, and that's going to block the northern motion, temporarily at least, of Matthew as it tries to make its way up north towards the coast for the mid-Atlantic. So those are just some of the forecast changes that have taken place over the last 36 hours. No doubt we'll continue to follow the National Hurricane Center's forecast and also watch the atmospheric patterns and the steering motions of where Matthew could wind up. But right now, it appears that Florida is going to be the main state that needs to definitely keep tabs on this system because there's greater potential that it can continue its western track or western trend, and that could potentially allow it to make landfall in the state of Florida, even if it eventually turns back out into the Atlantic Ocean. And thanks for checking out this video update here. We'll continue to post updates on this discussion, but right now, as it looks, minimal or small, if not no, impact for Matthew is expected for the mid-Atlantic at this time.